Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best here out around.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And I think this is Hollywood Mike.
You think?
Yeah, I'm here. It's been
Why
one
do
of
you
those days. I don't know. We're just kind
It's
of
been a
playing around and
crazy
guessing.
day.
Yeah, it has been.
Holy cow, this weather's been nuts. And I think I had a thunderclap go off right over my house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the glasses shook in the cabinets.
Yeah.
Stuff on the counter moved.
Wow.
Oh, man, it's crazy.
No, it absolutely happens. It does. I walked out of the house this morning at around 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was cold.
Yep.
And then I went back into the office, and I worked from home for most of the day today, and I walked outside again, and it was like 70 degrees in.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck?
I stayed in all day. Didn't go anywhere because of the weather and stuff. So I'm like, okay, got to come here.
Yeah.
I threw this coat on. And I walked outside and said, well, that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it happens.
Yeah,
you know?
It does. I mean,
What can we say?
thunder, lightning, you got wildfires.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I walked out with my big wool hat on, and I was like, nope, it's too hot for this, and went back and got the straw.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny story about this straw hat, that's brand new. And there's a store around the corner from here, around the corner from the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. Mm-hmm. And if you drive past the store, there's a big sign that says currency exchange.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a small sign that says and Western wear.
Oh,
You can't, you can't make that up. So I went inside. And sure enough, there was like 20 people in there going to the window of the currency exchange. And then the other side of it is this huge Western wear store with hats all over the place.
Wow.
And you wouldn't know unless it's there.
Wow.
And I bought this hat right around the corner from this place.
That's cool.
And I walked in, and the salesperson, a young lady, very helpful, spoke broken English, and I speak broken Spanish. So we were communicating through cell phone, through the app. I was saying what I wanted to say, and it translated it into Spanish so she could read it.
Cool.
Right?
So you had asked for huevos rancheros?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
I did. But, not too much, though, because, I didn't have a cream with me or anything like that. No. You don't know what happens to the huevos when they get all rancheros.
Oh, Jesus.
But she was so nice, not with the huevos rancheros, that she gave me a discount on the hat and everything. So I was
Really?
like, yeah, I'm going to buy the hat from you.
Nice.
And I wish I knew the name of the store so we could tell everybody about it and then hit them up for, sponsorship.
We're always looking for sponsors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So anyways, that's my story for the day.
very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So speaking of wildfires, there's a whole bunch of them out west and stuff again. And we have our own wildfire here tonight.
Yeah. We do have a wildfire.
We do
here.
have a
Yeah.
wildfire. Let's
Yeah.
hear it.
All right. We're not applauding for the wildfires out west.
No.
We're applauding for we're applauding for the wildfire
That's
here
right
in the
here.
studio.
That's right.
That's right. So how's everybody doing?
We're doing great.
Excellent.
Yeah, let me guess. Wildfire, country and western band.
Country party band.
What?
Not so much Western.
We're a country party
so
band.
you don't
Yeah.
have both kinds?
No, because we're country at heart, but we're not a country band.
Okay.
We're a party band that happens to play country music,
Okay. So after you've had a few, you're drunk and everything, everybody sounds country.
and you know it,
That's
and
what
you know
it is.
every word.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's
Outstanding.
good. Yeah. So I'm assuming you put this thing together?
That's an interesting story. You got time?
Yeah, we got all
we got time. Well, actually, why don't we have everybody introduce themselves
Yeah.
first so we know who we're talking to?
Yeah, we've got approximately 40 minutes, so go ahead. Yeah.
I'm Bobby.
All right.
I'm Rob.
What do you do in the band, real quick, Bobby?
I play bass and get yelled at a lot.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I play guitar
You play guitar. Okay,
and get
excellent.
yelled at a lot.
And
from
get
him.
yelled at a lot. Okay. All right.
I cause all the trouble.
And she does the yelling.
And all the shorts and the electricity.
I cause
and
all the trouble. Yeah, my name's Amber. I sing and I play the guitar as well.
yeah, and it's the steel plate in her head that causes all the issues with the.
That's what we're thinking.
Yeah, it is. So we don't want to stand next to her on a day like today because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. So how'd this all come about?
It's interesting to me.
Okay.
Hopefully you find it as interesting as I do.
All right.
So I was in a bigger country band here in Chicago before, and as was Rob, and I was hit on my motorcycle. So I broke my back in 3 places.
We don't want to hear that. Okay. Yeah.
So I stopped. I had to quit the band.
Knock wood.
Get myself healed. Get back on the bike. I go down to Woodstock Square. His band is playing.
Okay. Woodstock, Illinois.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
And he comes up to me after they're done playing and is like, "Hey, I need a fill-in bass player for a couple shows. You want to do a couple gigs?" And I'm like, "Okay." He called me back 2 months later, says, "Oh, we don't need a backup for that show now." Okay, cool, whatever. Then he calls me a year later and asks me if I wanted to do it again. So we ended up playing, and it was like, "Hey, this is fun." His band is breaking up. I did a couple fill-in shows. Like, okay, I'm good. I can start playing again. So we start putting something together. One of the fill-in shows, another guitar player was also doing one of the fill-in shows that I did, one of the tribute acts. You know, we were way out in Poopies playing, and I called Lenny up. I'm like, "Hey, this is what we want to do." And Lenny's like, "Hey, that sounds kind of fun." If you know Lenny, he's kind of a hippie. So, hey, that sounds kind of fun. That's really expressive for him, you know?
Right.
And, so that clicked. We found Amber. We actually started with 2 different singers, and our female singer that we started the band with, she's needs mommy time. She, got married and had a baby. We called Amber to fill in, and she's kind of a firecracker on stage. And we're like, okay, we need that,
Well, I had to fill her, the other singer's shoes too, because she's great. Yeah, I had to fill the shoes for the other girl that you had before me because she was great, and it's hard to come in and put something on that is that's worth the recognition that you guys started with, because like the other girl, she had her other things going on and everything, and so it's just it was just really great to be able to come in and do a good job, fill some shoes if I could.
Right. Who's missing in the band?
Our lead guitar player, our drummer, and our lead singer.
And what are their names?
Singer. The lead guitar player is Lenny Deesh.
Okay. Yep.
The Pineapple Express is our drummer. We are the only country band that we are aware of that has a Hawaiian drummer.
Okay.
So he is the Pineapple Express.
All right.
And then we have our male singers, Hayden, tall oak tree, built like you.
Yeah.
But
Big, tall guy.
about 6'4".
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He just came aboard about a month ago. He's formerly from another bigger band, but from a little farther south than us. And he actually came and filled in with my old band, which is how I knew him.
Okay.
And it's just a strange coincidence. He happened to call us on the exact right day that we needed him to call us. And it just kind of clicked, and people are really liking him too. And him and Amber work so well on stage together.
Hayden's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd climb that man like a tree.
The way I look at it.
Does Hayden know this? Does Hayden know?
Well, I banter him on stage about it. I tell the ladies, like, climb him like a tree.
Okay.
He's just really tall and sweet and really great to work with.
Okay. You'd probably get more people to go to your shows if she actually climbed him like a tree on stage.
I'm working on it.
Or on his shoulders, like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
But we're kind of like one member from all the different Chicagoland country bands.
Right.
And it works. I remember our first show, everybody's coming up, "Where are you guys from? You guys are," but I recognize him. I recognize you. Where you?
Yeah.
And I would tell them, "Well, I came from this band. He came from this band." They're like, "That's what's going."
So
on.
what's the family tree? They did, somebody did a family tree with the Kiss band a while ago, and it was so many people that were in that band before you actually, got to the famous four, right?
Yeah, we're kind of that way too.
Yeah. Who were you guys
Right
with
now,
prior to
you
that?
and I are the only two still
From the original.
What was okay? And what were your bands prior to that?
I played with my band was Gone Country.
Okay.
And before that, it was Bandit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And where were you?
Nashville Electric.
Nashville. I have heard of Nashville Electric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And where'd you come from, Amber?
I was in a band called Second Chance Band. That's
Okay.
where I started, but I was ultimately doing my solo stuff.
Okay. All right.
And then Lenny was in Summer Sun Hayden was in Whiskey Romance.
Oh, okay. All right, then I know Hayden. Okay,
Yeah,
I know
they're
Whiskey
Southern,
Romance. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then Dave was actually in a Green Day tribute band.
Okay.
They still do like 2 shows a year,
Right.
3 shows a year, something like that. But they don't really. They just kind of quit being. I don't want to say serious, just
Right.
not heavy gigging anymore.
Okay. And the Pineapple Express. Who's-
That's Dave.
That's Dave.
That's
Okay.
Dave,
So he has. So his parents didn't name him Pineapple Express.
I just did.
Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, when we first sat down here, I said, "Okay, you're a country band." You were like, "No, not really. You're a party band, but you kind of go country." But that sounds like you guys have a lot of country roots, though.
It's all country roots, and it's almost all country music.
Okay.
It's just high energy, not your daddy's country music. Even
Right.
though I love that stuff, and, I mean, we all do.
Okay.
But we're high energy, keep you on the dance floor, shaking it all night.
So who are you covering? What are the artists?
Well, we got Morgan Whalen. We've got
Miranda Lambert.
yeah.
Okay.
We have Lainey Wilson. We're doing
Dirk Bentley.
Okay.
You know,
Luke Bryan.
Luke
you know, just-
Bryan. Yeah.
Okay.
All
every,
of
every
those.
time I hear his name, I have to laugh. Because you ever hear, or do you know the comedian named Chris Porter?
No.
Gosh, you got to look up this. You have to look up Chris Porter on YouTube. And he's got this segment, one of his stand-up shows, where he talks about Luke Bryan's music. And I don't know if he's really good friends with Luke Bryan, and so he picks on him a little bit, or if he truly hates Luke Bryan. But he does this whole bit about if you listen to Luke Bryan's music, you're going to get cancer. He's one of these like insult comedian kind of, and he always sounds pissed off, and he's from Kansas, and he's got a southern drawl and a whole, but he starts talking about Luke Bryan. If you're gonna listen to it, you're gonna get cancer. And he starts singing one of his songs, and he goes, "Oh fuck, it's a tumor."
No, Luke Bryan's fun to make fun of, but you can't deny he just keeps selling albums. And honestly, his first album is awesome.
Yeah.
Underplayed. Most people don't know because it's not really bro country. It's not bro country at all.
Right. So was it a case? And I'm not that I'm not a fan. It's just I prefer my daddy's country music, as you know, like we talked about. Is it that the first album was definitely more country, and then kind of like the thing where his record company said, "Yeah, you need to be a little more commercial," and that's when he came out with
he came out with that Boom Boom song. Make my heart go boom boom.
Oh yeah.
And it's like after that song, it's like the record company just steered him down being the pop star. You know?
Okay, yeah. Which happens a lot nowadays, and that's kind of what Chris Porter talks about in his bit. You have to. If you're a Luke Bryan fan and you're listening to this right now, you have to go look it up. You're just going to laugh your ass off. It really is.
Yeah, we throw old stuff in there like Johnny Cash and.
You have to.
Oh yeah.
When you walk into a bathroom wearing a cowboy hat, as soon as you're standing there peeing, you're going to have someone come up to you and go, "Hey,
Play Johnny Cash.
Hey.
It's like, is he hitting on me or is he trying to talk to me? You know?
Could be a little of both.
Are you in the band?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys play any old country? So you got to play old country. You know?
Of course.
You got to throw them in.
Yeah.
You know, we do cover, you know, some older classics. We hit some 70s, some 80s, some 90s.
Right.
You know, it's like I said, it's a party.
Right.
If you walked into your friend's house, they're having a backyard party.
Okay.
The first song that gets put on is a little loud, a little obnoxious because it's two guys, and then what happens? Your wives tell you, "Get that shit off," or put my stuff on.
Right.
And they start with the dance music.
Yeah.
And then as the party's going on throughout the night, by the end of the night, you've gotten heavy.
Right.
Or ending with AC/DC or Rebel Yell. You know, so we kind of follow that whole party theme throughout our set list.
Okay.
It's. You have to come experience it to truly understand it. If you like to have a good time, you'll have a great time. You don't need to be a country fan.
Yeah, you just got to kind of read the fans and see what direction they're going and give it to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
We bring a lot of energy in our shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I like to say we're the Motley Crue of the country.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you guys use backing tracks and stuff like
We
that?
don't. No, we don't. No, I know now you do. But
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. People give them a lot of crap for that, but okay. So were your roots always in country music? Amber, were your roots always in country music or just picked it up?
I just picked it up, honestly. I grew up loving classic rock and pop music and 90s. I'm a 90s kid, and but country was always. It's always been a seller. It's always been there. It's always been part of my, growing up. Like, my parents listened to country music as a kid. I would tell everybody that I hated country music and I didn't want to listen to it. And I don't even think probably didn't listen to it from the time I was 13 to the time I was 19, not by choice or anything. But, and then, you kind of just come home and country music has always been there and always will be there. And, Yeah, I love it.
Now she wears corn on her shirt.
No, she does. She does have corn on her shirt. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, from the Cornfest run.
What about you guys? Did you always listen to it?
No, I didn't. To me, country was. I was more of a metal guy.
When it says the man who's wearing a Yellowstone Ranch baseball cap. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I played metal, and we covered the priests and maidens and all that. I was fortunate enough to spend a few years playing with Paul Chapman, who used to be with UFO. He's the one who replaced Michael Schenker at the time. Yeah. And my buddy Steve called me up. He left and went to California for about 5-6 years. He was singing backup for Kenny Rogers. So he called me up and he goes, "Hey, let's form a country band." And I'm like, "Are you nuts? I'm not doing
What year was
and I'm
that?
thinking, oh gosh, it was in the early 90s.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes, "No, I'm telling you, country's turning into a pop like old rock and roll, And I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "We'll talk about it."
Yeah.
So then that weekend I had a gig, and I'm up there playing metal, and priest and maiden, all you got is a couple of drunk guys in the front. "Dude, you guys rock!"
Yeah, right.
And there's like
nothing wrong with drunk guys up front. You got to have the drunk guys up front.
But you look around, and it's like
all the women are leaving.
There are no women to leave either. So I call him up. I says, "Okay, let's give this a shot." So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go see a country concert.
Yeah.
So I went to Tinley Park and seen Montgomery Gentry.
Oh, wow.
They came out. You thought Motley Crue. They had the fire going and the smoke and everything, and they just got into it. And I'm like, this is really good. This is a lot of fun. And then I look around, it's packed, and it's 10 women to every one guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
And then Steve and we started doing it, got players here and there. And our first show, it was like 10 women, every one guy showing up. And that's how I got into it and just kept doing it.
Yeah. Who we have to thank for that stuff? Garth Brooks.
Yep.
I mean, that's the guy that started the whole thing.
Changed it.
I've always had
that
country
was Steve's
roots.
favorite guy.
Yeah.
We did a lot of Garth because of that.
His first two albums, his first major album was so good that they went back and re-released the one that nobody heard of, and then that one, skyrocketed. And he just was producing album after album after album, and I actually saw him in concert 3 times. It was amazing.
I know I got you beat on that.
Oh, you've seen him more times than that?
Yeah.
But I've always had country roots. The first song I learned how to play was "Kiss an Angel Good Morning" by Charlie Pride, right? Mm-hmm. And then I did the whole thing, kind of like you said, and everything. I went through more like rock and roll and stuff like that. I was even a break dancer in the mid 80s. I did all that crap. But then all of a sudden Garth Brooks comes around, and I was a huge Billy Joel fan. I know every Billy Joel song ever written, and I'd seen him in concert probably 12 times. And then somebody says, "Hey, I got tickets to go see Garth Brooks. Let's go see Garth Brooks." And the amazing thing was, you could have just replaced Garth with Billy, and it was Billy Joel's show. Jumping off the piano, swinging from a rope on the, and the whole bit. It was, and everybody in the crowd was at the same time. Everybody was like, "This isn't a country show," because you looked around and it was like 45 and 50-year-old people all wearing their hats and their boots and everything, and expecting that he was going to be playing his countryest of country songs. No, he was covering Boston that night, and he actually covered a song by Billy Joel that night, and he was doing all kinds of stuff because he only had like 1 or 2 albums out at the time. He didn't have that much material.
Yeah, right.
And he was covering all of these 70s classic rock bands and stuff like that.
Yep.
And what an amazing show that was. Yeah. And it seemed like less than a year later, everybody was doing that stuff in their country shows.
They saw how popular it was.
I look up a lot of set lists of what bands are playing in country bands, and I noticed you're right. They have some rock songs in
Yeah.
there, 2 or 3 in every single show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they're a new
It's-
band with one album, how
Yeah,
they going to play for 2
right.
albums? With
But
like
even
3 hits?
Montgomery Gentry did rock and roll all night.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what? This is great.
Yeah.
Toby used to do that Ted Nugent song,
Stranglehold.
Stranglehold.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your first country concert?
My first.
You ever go to a country
Oak Ridge
concert?
Boys.
The Oak Ridge Boys.
Wow.
No kidding.
Old,
Probably the Holiday Star in Maryville.
Yeah.
Pheasant Run.
Pheasant Run. Okay.
Pheasant Run. Yeah.
And then I saw the Alabama up at the Milwaukee Mile before I had a driver's license, and country. I grew up with country being pounded in my ears too.
Right.
I still remember when WLS was still a country station.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then as WL started changing, that's Motley Crue came out. I was like, holy crap, what is this?
Yeah.
And so then got into the hair bands, but I was always looking for something different myself because I don't know if you were out and just hanging out in this scene in the late '80s, early '90s. I was in a band called Buzz Bomb. We were doing the shows with Mind Bomb and the Pumpkins because we were just all kind of metal. Before there was an alt metal scene, there was that little Chicago underground alt metal scene.
Right.
And we were heavy in that, and then I was in a national touring Motley Crue tribute band.
Nice. Wow.
After, gave up the original music scene, had kids. Wife said it'd be cool to be in a band. You were in a band again. So we started the Motley band. We were actually endorsed by Motley. Mm-hmm. We had to give away 2 cases of Vince Neil's tequila at every one of our shows.
Jeez.
They sounded better than Motley, probably.
Wow, that's not saying much. We were kind of sober, but you get, the tribute band was a lot of fun, and we got to meet a lot of people. I got to hang out with Gretchen Wilson as an example. She opened for us.
Wow.
Down at Pops.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah. We got to, you got to meet a lot of really cool people doing that little tribute thing. But man, 5 years of playing the same 22 songs. I don't know how the pros do it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, they're also getting paid $1 million a performance.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
right?
helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah, that $150 that you're playing for, whatever, doesn't really motivate you as much. Yeah.
and then honestly, the Motley band, we all kind of looked at each other and it's like,
Yeah. Now what do we do?
Same 24 songs over and over and over again. Yeah, let's call it quits.
Yeah.
And so it was Paul Wenzel from Suburban Cowboys.
Yeah.
And now he's got the Made in America band. He actually put out an ad looking for a bass player. And I auditioned, and I didn't hear nothing back from him. It's like, wait, I know I did good. Why haven't I heard anything back? And so I contacted him. He's like, dude, you're the best bass player that came down here, but you're just so metal. And I'm like, I didn't understand what he meant.
Right.
So I started to put a country band together just to burn him. Bury this guy.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, finally it clicked in my head, and I'm like, I get what he means now.
Yeah.
I get it, because country it's notes. We're all musicians. You play notes. There's a feel to country.
Yep.
That you gotta get it, and once you get it, you get it.
Right.
It's a little different. You can't. And I'm not taking anything away from any genre. I could never play half the stuff that's out there. The metal guys, the pop guys, because they have their feel.
Right.
But once I got that country feel, boom, and that for me, that's when Nashville Electric kind of started taking off. Not just because of me, but the band really started gelling, and
Yeah.
The audience knows it.
Yeah, you
You
can feel it.
You can't fake it.
I love revenge stories.
I know. Revenge stories.
Well, it's funny because me and Paul are actually really good friends, and we laugh about it now when we talk.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of a funny story. That's all.
Well, it was what motivated you. And
that's
you
right.
did it. And that era, everybody was doing that in that particular era. All of a sudden, all the metal guys decided, well, we're going to try something new because metal was going away. Nirvana, Nirvana killed their careers for them, right? And all that stuff started coming in. It's okay. What are we going to do now? Well, you turn on CMT, right, and look at all the country videos, and you go, oh, there's all the metal guys. You had full country bands, and every single one of these guys looked like they just walked off out of a metal show and went across the hall in the studio Chicago and started and formed up another band. They all
Right.
had the long hair and the leather pants and the hot pink guitars playing country music.
Yep, 100%.
It was like they literally snatched them and said, "We don't have a Telecaster. That's okay. Bring that Kramer. We're good. Do that."
Hey, I play a Flying V and an Explorer.
Yeah.
They're like, then I go, well, Big and Rich has a Flying V.
Yeah,
What's
well,
up with that?
but that's also a little Skinner though, so you can get away with that.
Yeah, right,
You can get away
exactly.
with those two guitars in there. No, that's good. That's interesting. Boy, not a lot of people realize or can talk about that era when everything kind of changed. It was right about that time. I stopped listening to all kinds of rock and roll, radio stations and stuff, and went 100% total country. And I was hanging out at the Cadillac Ranch in Bartlett.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Five times a week. Tuesday nights was ladies' night, right? That's then there was Wednesday night was line dance night, and then Thursday night was some kind of other special. Then you had Friday and Saturday night, and then they had Sunday where they had the line dance lessons and chessboards, and literally we hung out there the whole time and saw a lot of great music and a lot of great bands, and people just changing their attitude about a whole heck of a lot. I met my wife at the Cadillac Ranch, and it was so cool because we were hanging out with guys like, remember JD and the Catman on US 99? Yeah, we were hanging out to the point where we could just walk right up with those guys, buy them a drink, and sit down and just hang out with those two guys from US 99.
Yeah.
It was a great time to be a country music fan. It really was.
It's still, it really still is. It's not quite like that time period, but it's still like that. The local country music scene is the greatest group of people you'll ever meet.
Yep.
Every one of us has got each other's back all the time.
Yep.
It's nice. Hey, I need a bass player next week. You free? Yeah. Well, give me your set list,
Right.
And we work together. We don't work against each other ever. We've just picked up two big shows, one from Paul and one from Rob in Bellicane.
Okay.
They're booked. Call this guy.
Yeah, right.
It's just trading shows, and there's plenty of bars.
Yeah, right.
There's plenty of places to play. Why work against each other? It's so refreshing because back in the metal days, it was like, who can you stab in the back fast?
Right. Oh, yeah. And it's still that way kind of in that scene over there. But, things come and go in waves because my kids are both now in their early 20s and finishing up college and everything. And we've got a great bar not far from here over in Naperville, Saddle Up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have played
We're
Saddle
like
Up?
regulars there now.
Yeah. So it's hilarious to watch this because all of a sudden my kids are exactly where I was at their age. That's where they hang out every single time they come back home from school. Every Friday and Saturday night, they're at Saddle Up. And I think it's so funny. My son has a truck now and everything. It's so funny to see him walk out of the house with his boots and his hat. Where you going? Saddle Up. Okay. And, a year ago, he was listening to hip hop. It was just crazy. But yeah, great times. Great times.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike of the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast. If you've been enjoying our weekly program, we have great news for you. Just tune in to Road to Rock Radio on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you can hear a rebroadcast of one of our past episodes. Then again on Thursdays at 7 p.m., you can hear our most current episode brought to you by the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66.
So go to roadtorock.org, scroll down, and click on Radio Station. That'll bring you to the Road to Rock Radio, a station committed entirely to the great music from Illinois, from Chicago blues born on Maxwell Street to today's rock and roll and everything in between. 24/7, all music with its roots in Illinois.
So where are you guys playing a lot? You mentioned Saddle Up for sure, right?
We've been doing Saddle Up about once a quarter. We do another in that area. We played out in Oswego. They have that in Nash Vegas now.
Oh yeah.
Fun place.
Yeah.
Fun place.
Yep.
Great owner, awesome staff, really fair drink, prices, everything. Where else do we play on a regular basis? Jamie's Outpost, we play on a regular basis.
That's cool place.
Red Mill.
We play Mike and
Mill.
Denise's, the Red Mill.
Yeah.
Broken Oar.
Yeah. We're doing the whole Old Republic, Side Outs, all your normal typical places that everyone's playing. But summertime May comes and we're a country band.
Yeah.
We don't play indoors anymore. Actually, whatever the last weekend is of April, we have a big charity event we're doing down
Manhattan.
Manhattan. It's some big farmette and mayors from 4 towns are coming, and
Wow.
4 big charities. It's only $25 to get in, so anybody hits our page up, it'll be posted any day now. I thought it was a private event at first. I just found out it's a public charity event. And then we started our festival season. We're opening up the big room, whatever you want to call it, the Old Republic. If you've never been there, they kind of close it off with the cargo trailers, and that's what they build their bars and their VIP section with. But they close it off in the wintertime. They call it the Igloo. It holds 100 people.
Right.
And in the summertime, they open it up kind of like the Broken Horror is.
Right.
And so we're opening up the outdoor patio, and then we got the Red Mill, then we got Crystal Lake Fest and this fest and that fest.
Rock the Runway.
Yeah. Have you
that'll be fun.
Have you guys played the Broken Oar recently? Within the last 6 months?
The last
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
What's the? I heard that they actually made some changes to the to what used to be just the patio.
It's a barn.
They enclosed it now in
Yes.
the whole bit. Wow, that's pretty nice.
And it's heated. And,
And the stage is bigger.
Yeah, because they were stopping shows at a certain point in the year because it was just getting too cold out there
Sure.
for them to do it. So they've enclosed it. That's nice.
It's huge now, the way they have it set up.
So did they increase the size of it?
It sure seems like it, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gosh, because I haven't played there in like a year. Like you said, it gets cold out and you stop playing there. But we've got a show coming up in a few weeks there, and I'm interested to see what it's going to be like.
We were actually the first band to play the new stage in the barn. She didn't even have the doors in yet.
Wow. Okay.
So they just had the plastic draped in between from post to post. But that was last summer.
Yeah, when we were just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Interesting. So let's ask the hard question. What do you guys feel about all of these pop artists all of a sudden deciding, hey, I'm going to do a country tour? You got Post Malone going on tour.
You already know how I feel about it.
You got Beyonce going on tour. And
Okay, stop.
you got all this
I'm
stuff
for
going
it.
on.
Okay, they don't share the same sentiment.
Grab that
as me.
microphone.
They don't share the same sentiment as me, but I love Beyonce. I love that Post Malone's new album. I love Chapel's new country song, and I hope we put it on our list. Like I'm all for it.
They're both going, no. No.
Yeah, exactly. These guys, they do not share the
Well, see,
sentiment.
honestly, to me, it's not about.
Sorry.
It's not about what we want to play.
Yeah.
It's the audience going to do it. She wants to play the Chapel song. We're going to throw it in the set. It's going to get 3 shows.
Yeah.
It's either going to go over great or it's going to get thrown away.
Right.
It's because again, we're a band, so we all going to have our influence in it. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the audience is going to be the ones who make the call.
Right.
You know, I want to play more 90s country. I'm also know that you're not going to touch people as much when you're doing the 90s. You're going to get pigeonholed. The kids aren't going to want to hear it because they don't know it as well.
Yeah.
And 90s is really funny. You can play Sold, and every person in the bar is going to get up and dance to it.
Right.
But you play Don't Rock the Jukebox.
Right.
Or even Drive, or just think of a great song, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to kind of look at you like, what are you playing?
Well, I think you might be surprised though, because that's the one thing I've noticed about hanging out with my kids, and my wife and I, we've got the party house, right? And they're up to the wee hours in the morning and they're getting drunk down in the basement, and you hear all the new country stuff, but somebody will put on a classic country song and they're all singing at the top of their lungs. Like I always hear Shenandoah coming out of my basement, 2 Dozen Roses. Kids love that song.
That's what I'm saying though. It's 90s country is weird with the crowd today and out in the scene. Like Soul, John Michael Montgomery, great song.
Yeah.
It's not as popular he was never as popular as Alan Jackson was.
Sure, of course.
But you can't play Alan Jackson out in the bars. And I mean, I know there's Hillbilly Rockstars does that 90s thing and that goes over great. And that's a very specific audience that comes out to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not your typical bar crowd.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's what I'm kind of referring to. We're not doing a specialty show so we don't have that. We don't have that. What's the word I'm looking for? We can't get away with that. We can try it. Hey Rob, I want to play this. Oh, cool. Let's play it. Mm-hmm. Again, though, if it doesn't go over, it's got to go away because we're entertainers.
Right.
Ultimately,
Well, you know, people do it with other genres. Like you think about a basic rock band, all right? You might have a band come up and they might play some Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam, and then they might do some Motley Crue, right? But then they might go back and they might do some Journey, right? REO Speedwagon. Then they'll come back and play Metallica. I mean, you're playing rock and roll music from different eras, right? So, you know, it's just a matter, I guess, getting the right mix.
It's the right mix, and just getting that right song that hits everybody. You know, to me, the ultimate pat on the back that this band ever had was a diehard metalhead that came to one of our shows just because we were playing down the street from their house, and he came up and goes, "Man, I hate country music, but you guys are awesome. I had so much fun tonight."
Yeah.
And to me, that's the key.
Right.
Because now, even though he's a metalhead, he's going to come back and bring some friends with him next time we're playing in the area, you know? And so I try to focus my thought anyways on always never being worried about what I like to play. If these guys want to play Heaven Forbid Cruise, I'll play the damn song as long as the audience wants to play it.
That's one song that I don't ever want to play ever again. But you're absolutely right.
Is that duet song? No, that's the Florida
Georgia Line.
Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Florida Georgia Line song. Yeah.
See, I think that's what helps us is like what Bobby's saying. The metal is energy.
Right.
And we play country. But we're bringing that metal energy to the music, and it shows. I remember one time with my other band, we were kind of like we are now with a lot of energy and everything. And we're playing this festival up in Kenosha, and it was a tribute island. I don't know if you ever heard of that. With all tribute bands. Yep. Well, we were the headliner for the country stage.
Okay, right.
And we did Keith Urban and Carrie Underwood because you have to kind of tribute. We had a girl and boy, and we put it together. And I got, you're looking out there, and it's all these metal guys, these metal bands, and Rob Zombie guy was out there in front of us, just like, you guys are great, But it was the energy we brought and stuff. And we're doing the same thing now, and I think that's the difference. You go see some of these other bands, and they just stand there and play. Yeah. They're great musicians. They're playing great.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's like, okay, what's next?
Hayden said, Hayden said it at his first show that he did with us. He literally had 4 days to learn our set.
Right. Yeah.
And he got there. He was a ball of nerves, and he's like, "Amber's going to have to help me with this song. Amber has to help me with this song. Amber, can we cut this one? Does Amber know any of the words to the? And I'm like, dude, we're just going to go up there. We're going to have fun. You can't do the song." And look at her; she knows everything.
Sing the wrong words,
right?
Yeah, right.
It's an art form to sing the wrong words with confidence.
Yes, it is.
He got off stage and he goes, "Where did you find these guys?" Because he only knew me,
right.
At that moment, and he's like, "Where did you find these guys?" I have never had that much fun on stage before in my life. Like, we click. We're a family.
Yeah, well, that's good.
He did so great, and we had regulars at the show that night too, and she even came to me. She's like, I've followed Hayden and his other band, and I've never seen him come alive like he did with you guys tonight. And I was like, oh, that's so great. Like Hayden did. He's great. Yeah,
well, that's good. That's good. We're gonna have to put some clips up of these guys or something like that, so we can see what it's like on stage with them for sure.
Yeah, you got to find them.
Yeah. So what do you guys?
Why do you hide them or?
Yeah.
Well, Hayden's been with us for
3 shows.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So we basically have taken all of the old stuff away, and waiting to get some new stuff put up.
Right. So do you guys have a website or anything?
Just our Facebook
page. Yep.
It's Facebook /Wildfire Rocks, all one word.
Okay.
It's you were actually talking to another band because when we started talking about this, I went and saw some others, and you guys were talking about band names. With that Reverend something band.
Oh yeah,
Rev Dog.
Rev Dog.
That came out this week.
Well, we did it. We decided it was going to be Wildfire, and then after advertising it and paying for banners and doing all that, went ahead and looked to see how many wildfires there are. And there's about 3,000 of them
Yeah,
in the country.
Yeah.
But luckily, none of them are near us. So, and none of them have a cool logo like us.
Right. Or you change it to FYRE.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there too.
There's absolutely has to be. Wow. And
They think we're the restaurant.
yeah. Oh, no kidding.
You know, I laugh all the time. I'll have the radio on and they advertise the restaurant and you always hear Wildfire.
Yeah.
I think, how many people think of us right away?
You got any songs on the radio? Oh, we're all over the radio. So what kind of what shows you guys got coming up within the next few months? We're heading into the spring and summertime here.
Like I said, we took most of April off. Oh, I turned my phone off so I can open the calendar. We have that charity event at the end of April. And then we're doing a birthday party up in Wisconsin, up at the Brat Stop.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of co-shows with Kicking with Carol. She's a line dance instructor.
Okay.
And actually, her team just took first place in the nation for group
Nice.
line
Wow.
dance. But one of her group, it's their birthday party, so she's doing a little thing, and then we're going to play for a couple hours afterwards. And then, like I said, then we're doing Old Republic, and then we have the Red Mill for Memorial Day weekend.
On the 24th, yeah.
Right.
Open up their stage, and then we hit
Then
June.
the week off, yeah. June 6th for Broken Oar.
Yeah, then we're to Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent.
Nice.
And then festival season.
Yeah. Right. So what major thing has to happen for you guys this year for you to consider it to be a fantastic year for Wildfire? Something like you have a bucket list thing you want to do?
I know I do. Do you guys have anything before I start babbling again?
Well, I think we're heading that way. I wanted to play on a regular basis, which we're doing. I wanted to get our foot in the door in a lot of festivals. And that's happening.
Yeah.
Even to the point where we're headlining some of them already.
Great.
Which usually you're hoping to be the band before the headliner. And so, yeah, I think so far I'm happy.
I forgot.
You know,
Uh-oh. He's excited.
The big
Look at him.
thing.
Yeah.
We are playing 2 shows with Chris Stapleton this year.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah.
We're doing the Harley Homecoming. And then
Up in Milwaukee.
Up in
Yeah,
Milwaukee. And then we're doing, we're actually not playing with him, but we're doing his pre-show party
Right,
down
right.
at JMO's.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
When he's playing the Tinley, which I guess JMO's does a pretty good deal with these pre-concert event things. So it's just kind of cool.
I'll go as long as you guys aren't playing Tennessee Whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
I will. I'll go as long as that song isn't being played.
Oh, darn it. That was the song we were going to start with now.
Oh man.
oh, God, there goes.
Well, that's good. I'll know to show up late. That's perfect.
The Harley Homecoming though is definitely going to be the biggest show that I personally have ever
Yeah.
played.
Yeah, that's a fun time too. I've gone to it several times myself.
Yeah, I'm
so.
just really excited to play with these guys. I told Bobby, after like the third show or whatever, I was like, thank you so much for keeping me on board and bringing me on board, because I feel like I'm living like a Gretchen Wilson song with this band, honestly. And it's just, it's just a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for festival season. And I just would like us all to keep having fun and stay tight and drama free, honestly.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and get out and see these guys because I do love country music, and if I ever get a day off myself and need someplace to go, I will definitely go and check them out for sure.
And I'm not very far from Jamos.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We can almost walk there.
Almost.
We're doing a couple of days down at the Basin too.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get to know my regular sound guy, Eric.
Yes.
Yeah, Eric.
I love Eric.
Yeah, Eric is our regular sound guy. He's when he's not at the Basin, or if he's not at Top Fuel Saloon, he's doing sound for my band. He's our regular guy. So, yeah, nice stage. He built the whole stage and everything there himself. It's a really nice place.
He does a great
Nice
job
spot.
with the sound too.
That place was crazy last year.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
We thought the stage was going to go down.
yeah,
So many girls on the stage with us
Yeah.
dancing.
yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what. I enjoyed talking to you guys.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's time to get them out of here so we can talk about them behind their backs.
That's right, as we always do.
That's the best part.
We do.
That's the best, that's right. It's the best part.
Yeah.
All righty, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
thanks
Yeah,
for
appreciate
having
it.
us. We had a
Thanks
good
for coming
time.
out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's singing Fire. Sorry.
Oh, wow. That was a song.
It was. Don't you remember that?
I do now.
Yeah.
Definitely not the same genre of music that they're talking
most
about.
definitely. I don't even remember who did it. That wasn't Glenn Campbell, was it?
I don't think so.
I don't remember who did that.
No, I don't think that was. We're going to have to look that up now.
Definitely. Well, that was a great group of people.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Kicked up country.
Yeah.
It's rather interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a band that like my kids would want to go out and see.
Yep.
That's, they're into that kind of country music and the whole bit. And what surprised me, they weren't 20 somethings.
No.
Either.
No. Amber.
Amber probably was. Yeah. But I mean, they caught on to a niche. They know what pays. They know how to get hired.
Yep.
Without being a tribute band.
That's right.
And, but they played tribute festivals because they've got that new country sound.
That's right. That's right. And they come from, heavy metal.
Yeah, right, right.
It's pretty wild, but definitely got to get out and see them guys, when they're in your area.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, and thanks again for listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. And join us every Tuesday for another exciting episode. See ya. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Chicago.